This is for when you're on holidays, and being on holidays is great, but then you wake up feeling a little bit stiff because you haven't moved and been doing your usual routine for a few days. So you can just have a towel on the hotel room floor, on the beach, whatever. You don't even need a towel. Try not to make excuses, just start to get moving. So we'll start here on all fours. I'm just going to gently round the back, press straight down into the shins, and then inhale, extend the back, lifting tail, broadening shoulders. Exhale, rounding the back. Inhale, extending the back. Exhale, rounding the back. Inhale, extending the back. And then I'll start to walk my hands back towards my knees, round into the low back. Curl under the toes. Push away through the arms, coming into a little bit of a squat here. Just walking those arms in a little bit closer, bending in through the elbows. And then just a slow lift of the bottom, because the hammies will probably be tight if you haven't done any practice or your usual exercise for a few days. So what you can do is to just alternate pressure from side to side. Bring the hands a little further away from the feet. And by alternating straight leg to bent leg, helps to walk out that tightness that you feel through the back of the legs, rather than just trying to push the legs into a straight down dog kind of stretch. Keeping the breath moving. I'm going to come back down into a squat. I'll walk the hands in a little bit closer. Push forward through the forearms, drop the hips down to the heels. Bend the elbows, bring the knees to the mat. Walk the hands forward and start to come down onto the belly, push-up style or chaturanga if you can do that. Soften down into the belly completely. I'm going to rest the forehead down. I'm going to tuck under through the tailbone, push the sit bones towards the heels. And then I'm going to lift the chest and breathe in. Try to look down along the midline rather than forward. And then lift the back of the head up towards the ceiling. Feel the collarbones are very broad. And the armpit muscles are squeezing down and in. And then I'll fly those arms around to the front and then rest the hands down underneath the head. Then bring right heel in towards the bottom. And as I lengthen the right leg away, I'll bring the left heel in. And then I'll just start to alternate from side to side. Keeping the breath moving as I'm doing this. And eventually working to bring the heel in towards the bottom to full range. At first you might feel a little stiff and the heel might not come all the way in. Continue with that movement, almost minimizing the rock of the pelvis from side to side. Beautiful, let's tuck the toes under, press the heels away. Lift the kneecaps up the thighs, so I'm walking the feet in quite close here. Then I bring the hands either side of the chest. And I'm pushing my heels away, so this will help if you're getting any cramping from the previous movement. Then soften the knees down, rest the forehead, push away through the hands to lift the hips, round the back again. And this time you can lift all the way up into that downward facing dog position. Five deep breaths. Remembering to move the legs if they feel a little tight. coming back down onto the knees. This time I'm going to push all the way up onto the knees. I'm going to bring my right foot out to the side, try and tuck under through the tailbone. Press down into the left shin. I'll reach the left arm up and over. Breathe in to feel this left side waist and lean to the right side. 5 breaths. Then you can bring your right leg straight if you want to. If that feels a little bit too strong, just keep a bend in the knee instead. Tucking under through the tail, maintain a downward pressure there into that left shin. And try and draw the right kneecap up the thigh. And after a few breaths here, I'll either come straight back to center or push down, left hand, hips forward, and reach the right arm away. Giving a gentle stretch to the adductors here, pushing hips forward, lifting chest towards the ceiling. Breathe. Let's crisscross the arms back around. I'll push down into the right knee this time, taking the left foot out to the side. Towels tucked under, glutes switched on, downward pressure into that right shin. Opening up through right side rib cage, just using the breath. This stretch usually feels a little bit strong. You know you've been sitting and reading or eating over your holiday period with this one. And this will help to break up any fullness in the abdomen, the lower abdomen and the hips, as well as release those hip flexors from sitting down and relaxing. Quad switching on, tail tucking under, legs straight here if you choose. A few breaths with the straight, left leg out to the side, quad switching on. Try and remain tucked under. Don't let the hips fall back. And either coming back down onto the hands and knees, or you can cartwheel, right hand down, press into the fingertip pads. I'll try and keep my elbow a little unlocked here. Chest towards the ceiling, hips forward, breathe. And hips back, coming around again onto all fours. Again, you can push up your way down to the mat, or you can come down chaturanga style, knees down. I'm going to bring the belly all the way to the mat once again. Press the toes away, tuck the tail under, I'll inhale and reach the arms back again. This time just reaching the hands either side of the glutes, so I can lift my elbows up like a grasshopper, collarbones broad, breathe into the belly. And hands coming back around either side of the chest. Rest the forehead down. Curling both heels in towards the bottom. I'm going to see if I can just use glutes to lift the knees up a tiny bit. Just listen to the back. If this is too strong, you don't need to do that. Tuck the toes under, pressing legs straight once again. Push away through the hands, down into the knees, and rounding back slowly into a child's pose where hips come to the heels. Hands come underneath the forehead. And again, just breathe in a few breaths here as if to create space at the low back between the ribs and the top of the pelvis. Wonderful. Let's come back up onto all fours. So you've got the option to just move into the spine, gently side to side, forward and back, starting to express all ranges of movement through your spine. Or again, you can come back up into your downward facing dog. If you are on holidays, you might notice that your towel is
not as grippy as your mat, that can sometimes be a good thing. Instead of pushing against the grippiness of your mat, a towel or an uneven surface will actually force you to use your core a little bit more, sometimes unlocking the elbows and drawing in and under through those ribs a little bit more, as if you're almost trying to draw the hands and the feet back towards one another rather than push them apart. From this down dog position, if you feel okay with it, you can step the feet a little bit closer together. See if you can bend into the left knee, lift the left knee up, and perhaps twist a little here into a 3 like a dog if that feels appropriate for you. Just watching if you know you have knee problems that you don't twist into that standing knee too much. The breath. And then I'm going to squeeze this left knee in towards the body, draw the shoulders back as if to come into a sit-up, and then step this left foot forward. Jumping down ever so gently onto the back knee, pushing forward through right heel, bring the knee behind the heel. Again, tuck the tail under, inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, point the right hand forward, bring the right hand down, left hand comes behind the right hip. Smiling those collarbones apart. Try to keep pushing into your left heel to bring the knee behind the heel. And then if you have enough energy here and enough movement through your shoulders, you can lift your left arm up. Breathe into it. And then bringing this left hand back down, curl the back toes under, either stepping back onto all fours or take it back into a downward facing dog. 5 breaths. If you're on all fours, just move your body with your breath. If the legs are still really tight, alternate that walking movement. Stepping the feet a little closer together, 3-legged dog this time, reaching that right knee up towards the ceiling. Coming into a gentle twist if that's appropriate for you, just watching that you don't over twist your left knee. Breathe into right side waist. And then squaring off by drawing the knee in, pulling the shoulders back like you're about to do a push-up, and stepping your right foot forward. Bring that left knee down. You are welcome to come up into a full lunge here if you can manage it. Let's tuck the tail under and inhale, lift the arms. Trying to keep the knee behind the ankle. Left hand forward, right hand back. Take the left hand down. Right hand comes to the back of the left hip. And then if it's available, you can take your right arm up, breathe the collarbones apart. Try to keep left glute switched on, right knee behind the right heel. Right hand coming back down. Again, downward dog, or take it back onto all fours once again. 5 breaths. Knees coming down. Let's finish the sequence opening the shoulders into Anahatasana. So forward to the mat, elbows to the mat, and take 5 breaths, just sinking the chest down with each exhalation. If you'd like to bring the hands together into prayer here, and your shoulders have that little bit of extra range, go for it. Bringing the hands back down into the mat. Let's spin the body over. Just taking a few breaths at least here, just with the spine completely flat on the ground. reaching for that holiday book, laying on the beach, continuing whatever it is you've been doing. Hari, that's it.